Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ahlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Beyond the Vines podcast. I am so excited to be finally launching this, and I'm so appreciative of everyone that's been supportive of this and is excited to tune in as well. My goal is to provide a space to highlight local businesses in Sonoma County so that we can all get a chance to know the people behind those businesses a little better. And with that being said, I would like to welcome our first guest, Jimmy Bruce of Aces Over Eights. He is a highly sought-after tattoo artist, a business owner, and possibly most importantly, my brother-in-law. So I'm so thankful to have you in our family, and also so thankful to have you here. So welcome.
Thanks, sis. I appreciate that.
I would love to hear a little bit, before we get into the business, a little bit of how you got started in this career, in this industry.
Totally. It's kind of, I tell this story often because it's one of those things that clients always want to know. If I haven't worked with them yet, they ask me this question. It comes up quite a bit, so I'm pretty used to telling this story, and usually I tell kind of an abridged version of the story, but maybe I can take it a little more slowly this time. I was kind of always interested in tattooing at a young age. My mom had a tattoo that she got when she was like 16, and then my sister being older than me, I saw her in high school and beyond start getting tattooed, and so I knew it was like acceptable in my family, right?
Oh, good point.
I got tattooed when I was 15.
Wow.
In this guy's garage. Not recommended. Definitely always go to professional.
Can I see the tattoo?
It's covered up. It's on my back. Okay. It was on my back. But yeah, they got in the way of a bigger piece later on. So I got tattooed when I was 15, and then I waited again until I turned 18. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna wait. That was cool. Got it out of my system. Just gonna wait. But I always was into it. At the time, Miami Ink was really big on TV. And this was 2005, 6, 7, in that time period. And so just kind of always had that interest there in the culture of tattooing, but never really considered it as a career. I thought I was going to work on cars.
Oh,
I thought that was it. So I was actually signed up for a vocational school for cars in Sacramento. It's called WyoTech.
Wow, yeah.
There's one in Wyoming and one in Sacramento, and I was going to go to the Sacramento campus, but it was so quickly after graduating high school. It was 2 weeks after graduation, the semester there started.
Oh my gosh.
I was still 17. I got cold feet.
Yep.
I was like, all right, I'm going to put it off for a year. Let me just chill this summer. And I ended up enrolling in the JC that summer just to start something, to do something, right? And at the time, I had a job in an auto shop working somewhat adjacent to a career I wanted to do. I wanted to paint cars and do airbrushing and stuff. And I turned 18, and then I started getting tattooed because everyone, it's okay in that field to have tattoos, right?
Right.
I idolized guys like Jesse James.
Right.
And there's this dude, Jimmy Shine. They were both just covered in tattoos. Very much like the hot rod culture of that era. So I started getting tattooed, and, 2 sessions into this large tattoo on my arm with this guy, John Gerhard, in San Rafael, I was like, well, this is way better than sanding cars all day.
Were you already an artist at this point?
I had always,
Okay.
I had always That was,
you were always
an artist.
Yeah,
I wanted to paint cars and do custom airbrushing and do art. I always drew. When I was a kid, I would my friend Tim and I would set up our toys and draw pictures of them.
Oh, how
rather
cool.
than play with them,
Yes.
just weird stuff like that.
How funny.
Always into art. And so that's kind of my natural progression. And then a longer story how I actually secured my apprenticeship and stuff. But basically that was spending that time with John in his shop. He's actually deceased now. Rest in peace, John. But spending that time with him in his shop was really that's when it really lit that fire. Okay, this is actually what I want to pursue as a career path.
That's amazing.
And so that was it.
And to have that legacy, it sounds of John to kind of carry.
Yeah, totally. I didn't learn under him, but he definitely checked in with me. He was friends with my sister.
Wow.
Checked in with me and and stuff.
That's amazing.
Past,
Okay.
Yeah,
and
guy.
how did like, did you work at a different shop? Did you automatically go to Aces over Eights? How did that progress?
Yeah, so that it's tough. It's a tough industry to crack, really. And the more and more popular it gets, the harder and harder it gets to crack.
Yeah.
Because there's not, in California, we don't have schools. But like a few states, like Oregon, has tattoo schools you can go to.
Okay.
It doesn't, guarantee you a job somewhere, but it's how you get licensed.
Right.
So in California, it's more just like an old school, like apprenticeship, like any trade, plumbing, electrician, carpentry, heavy equipment, you do an apprenticeship.
Right.
For us, it's typically like standard is about 2 years.
Okay.
Unpaid. If someone's saying, hey, you have to pay me for your
That's not
apprenticeship,
allowed.
red flag.
Okay.
It's allowed, but I always tell people who ask,
Yeah.
who come seeking,
Good idea.
that's a red flag,
Yep.
because what's to say that they're just going to fire you?
Totally.
Keep your money, right?
Totally.
So you're working for free, like that's payment enough, and they're teaching you how to tattoo, and that's your payment.
Right.
That's why you're not making money.
Right.
So it's still very old school. It's kind of the way it's always been done.
Wow.
It's still done like that, but it's hard, and it's really it's a really guarded industry, because the more tattooers are, the more mouths there are to feed.
Yep.
And there's only so much. Now it's like, I think, less of a problem, because tattoos are so mainstream.
Right. Right.
That there's new 18-year-olds every single day. It's a self-replenishing clientele, and until tattoos become like, taboo again or not popular anymore.
Right.
There's always going to be clientele. So.
Well, and you're so booked up.
I am, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
It is hard. I was at our lake the other day, our site at the lake, and somebody was saying, oh, I love your tattoos. And they were like, oh, it's Jimmy Bruce. And I was like, oh, that's my brother-in-law. And they said, you got to get on the books a year out if you want Jimmy.
I have a bit of a way. It's super blessed for that.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, but it comes with its own unique challenges
For sure.
and problems and family stuff.
Plan your life out a whole year in advance.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. So I went around in Sonoma County, probably about like 10 different tattoo shops, and some people, kicked me out. Some people cursed me out the door. Some were nice and offered some guidance, and but I kind of struck out. And then my dad found someone he was working with that knew some owners of a shop and was really close with them, and he ended up getting me like an in-person interview.
Wow.
At the time, they were looking for an apprentice. And so I went and I talked to them. I brought some artwork. I shudder now to think of the artwork I actually brought them to show them like my art skills at the time, and I'm thankful that they must have really liked that guy to give me a shot. Yeah. Right? Or the pickings were slim back then. I don't know.
Right.
But this was 2008, and they said, yeah, you can come hang out if you want, like not an apprenticeship. But I went there every single day, like 2 weeks straight. It's like, hey, you want me to get you coffee? I'll go grab you guys lunch. Like, what can I do? Just like showing them that I really wanted it, until they asked me if I wanted to come on as an apprentice. And then that was pretty much it. About 2 years passed, and then became kind of a toxic environment there, and left with 2 of the tattooers that I worked there with to open Aces in Petaluma.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. I love, too, that you had such a hard road getting into it, and you didn't just say, okay, I'm going to go back to Wyotech now at this point, and I'm going to do cars. I'm going to give up on it. Like, you really stuck with it, and so it's obviously paying off now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for sure. What year did you start Aces?
So we got the keys in like December 15th of 2010.
Wow,
and we had 1 month solid where we were like, okay, we're paying rent for this month, like, or maybe our landlord might have given us the 1 month free to do the build out, because it needed a ton of work.
Yeah.
It was my buddy Chad who listens to this is gonna laugh, but there was it used to be, it was Board Betty's back in the day,
I remember that. That's right.
The changing rooms, the dudes had like stuffed a bunch of trash in one of the changing rooms and then drywalled it off, like sealed it.
Oh my gosh.
Sealed it. So we opened it up and we're like, what is all? There was just like piles of trash.
This is a real estate nightmare.
It was bad. Yeah. I heard they had like a cat living there and stuff. All sorts of stuff. So
wow.
So they had heard we were looking to open a shop in Sonoma County, and reached out, and they were looking to get out of the area. So they knew at the time I opened it with 2 partners,
Very cool.
Cody and Jake, and they reached out to Cody. we got in, they hooked us up with a landlord. It was pretty smooth transition, but we ended up opening for business January 15th, 2011.
Wow.
So
That was quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, like December of this year should be 15 years or now almost 13 years.
I feel like we could still have a party for
We're
that.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Getting pretty close to 15 years.
Wow. And for anybody that doesn't know, you're located in Petaluma on American Alley. So
So right the back of Putnam
building.
Plaza, like the Pie Company, the Speakeasy, or 130 American Alley.
Great location.
It's cool.
Like,
it's a really cool.
It's such a fun space over there.
I love the plaza. Yeah, the building comes with its quirks. It's an old building.
Yep.
Got some concrete walls. We got one window, like one door in. It's kind of a fire hazard.
That's all right.
But it is what it is. Take the chance to be in that central location downtown.
For sure.
It's good.
You got a lot of eyes over there and just a lot of people moving around over there, and
totally a lot of
you can get
traffic.
pie after your tattoo. So
Absolutely.
I don't know anything better than that.
At almost 15 years, I'm pretty pied out personally, but I love my friends Angela and Lena at the Pie Company.
Have you had their cookies though? Because their cookies are equally amazing.
Yeah, the cookies are good.
Yeah, for sure.
So much is good there.
That's awesome. Is there anything? Because obviously there are a lot of tattoo artists. It's semi-saturated. There's a lot of different tattoo shops in Petaluma and in Sonoma County. Is there anything particular about your shop that sets you apart?
Sure. At this point now, I think we're the third oldest.
Wow.
In Petaluma.
Wow.
And American Classic and Electric Oni. Angel and Clayton, they predate us, but we all offer something totally different, And there's some newer shops in town too, and I think for us, like what really sets us apart and what I hear most of people coming in the door is just how welcoming we are.
Yeah.
Like how like relaxed and it's just welcoming. Like the vibe is such a new agey word, the vibe, right? But the vibe is right.
I have to agree with you about your vibe.
Yeah, it's just like we have friendly faces. We have like a younger crew. We don't play like obnoxious music. I really try to cater to Petaluma, and I feel like I know Petaluma because I grew up here.
Yep.
I'm from here.
Great
so
point.
It's that's I think what sets us apart the most, because across the board, like everyone that tattoos in Petaluma is a pretty good artist. So it's all pretty competitive there.
Yeah.
And so I think that like the aesthetic, the feeling is what gets people to come back. Yeah. When you're starting off, if you're not great at tattooing, the experience you give that customer is what's going to make them a return customer.
Great point.
They might overlook some small imperfections, but they say, you know what, I had a great conversation. Like, he remembered my kids go to this school type thing, like those things. That customer service aspect is so important with what we do.
Yep.
And that's what I always stress to people coming up in the trade is just that customer service. If you can't, there's a saying, if you can't blind them with brilliance, you baffle them with BS.
I love that.
And it, hopefully they keep coming back and they like you, and then eventually you get really good, and then they come back for that too.
It's so relatable to other businesses in that way, and I haven't really thought about that. I've thought of more the artistry, obviously the level of trust you have to have for your repeat clients especially, but that level of trusting your artist. But that's a great point. It's just the rapport you build, the vibe when you walk in the door, which you do have. It's the lounge furniture, and it's comfy and cozy in there, and just you have a great vibe.
Yeah, I mean, similarly with you, if you like I know you personally, you have a great personality, and I know you're great at what you do.
Thank you.
But if you consistently made mistakes with paperwork and deadlines and stuff, and you didn't have that your shining personality, people will be like, well, what does she have to offer? I'm going to go to the next, because it's saturated market too.
Because it's saturated.
I'm going to go to the next person, right? So it's so important. People overlook that.
Out.
Yeah, they don't.
For sure.
They think of it as like, I'm just an artist. I'm just doing my art. This person is blessed to come in here and get my art from you, and it's like, well, they can get that anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to build that clientele, I think that's one of my biggest strengths and why I have like such a
following, really.
Sure, like a large group of return clientele is they like hanging out.
Yeah,
they like the shop. So
I can say that as a customer. I agree.
Yeah, finally.
Finally.
Took 10 years.
Took me long enough. I just come in with friends and my husband, but now it's officially me too. I've crossed over. I would love to know kind of some of the challenges you faced. I think the pandemic's an obvious one that I'm sure affected your business, but anything else too?
Yeah, totally. the pandemic, that was a unique challenge. That's not something that that we hopefully don't continue to face as business owners. I think the biggest challenge for me has been like team building.
That makes sense.
Like becoming a leader and knowing how to lead a team, and also building out that team.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. You have a lot of different personalities. We're all sensitive artists. We all have different needs.
That's a good point.
Coming from different walks of life. We all have struggles, and so getting everyone to get along towards a common goal has been really hard, and it's something that I think neglected for a lot of the life of this business so far, but it's something I've really taken seriously, since 2019, 2020. Really took an objective outside look on how I was leading, how I was managing the business, and I can say it's totally changed from the first 10-ish years.
I love the honesty in that.
I messed up.
It's a learning lesson for
I messed
everyone.
up a bunch with people, and unfortunately lost some great people and friendships along the way.
Definitely,
it's tough hiring friends. I mean, early on and up until even more recently. So it is what it is. I think it's it's how you stand up, how you learn, how you move on from that, and
learn and grow as a business from that. For
yeah,
sure.
That's been my hardest thing, for sure, though. Just that team building and managing of people is not easy.
No. People's schedules, probably some competition, I would think, maybe possibly in there too with everybody.
Yeah.
So.
We're luckily haven't encountered that too much. At least I don't hear about it. There might be some backroom talk over the years that's been more towards that, but usually I try not to hire to a few artists that do the exact same thing.
Great point.
Because that breeds definitely competition there. So everyone, I always try to look to round out the crew. What are they bringing? Is someone else here already doing that and better than what are they adding, right?
Right.
Not that I'm always just trying to get something out of people, but it is something I think about, because if everyone's doing the exact same thing, it is super competitive.
Well, and then it's how it's not just you trying to get something out of it. It's what you're bringing to your customers and your clients as well, being able to offer them that.
Absolutely.
Styles and personalities.
For sure. If we have a well-rounded crew, a crew that can do pretty much anything you're looking for, why would you shop anywhere else?
Exactly. You're serving the community better that way.
Yeah, totally.
So, great. Speaking of the community, I would love to know if there's anything that your shop does to support the community, any fundraisers or charities or anything that you're into?
Sure. Yeah, I've done a lot over the years. I used to be a lot more public with that sort of thing, and something shifted. I don't sound the trumpet quite as much as I used to about it. I do it definitely a little more in secret, but there are definitely charities that I'm really passionate about in Sonoma County. Lily's Legacy, Senior Dog Rescue.
I love Lily's Legacy.
My wife volunteered there for a while, and for years I did. I usually do a Christmas raffle around that time of year. Started way back with a friend who lost his dog, and I helped him pay his vet bills, and then I just kept it going. And Sage Casey Foundation.
I don't know that one.
My client Rebecca lost her child to suicide, youth suicide. So it's awareness and prevention.
Great.
My client, Greg Corday, he runs
amazing.
Corday Lighting in Santa Rosa. Corday All Day is his foundation, and they help with community matters. They help with school bullying, stuff like that. And then last year I supported Inspired Spaces. It's a group of designers, all types of different designers, and they help furnish houses for people in the county who are think people low income getting their first home, single moms coming straight out of battered women and children's centers, furnishing where they can't do it themselves. So it's a really cool charity. I met this woman who's part of it actually on an overnight ruck in San Francisco. I had done with my friend Dario, and we connected, and she reached out when she was doing that just on Instagram. It was hey, would you mind to donate? So that's typically what I'm doing nowadays, is just kind of a little less like public, but when
radar.
people hit me up, I'm happy to do that stuff. And
That's great.
those are, you know, some causes I'm always close to me, friends and stuff, but definitely like Sonoma County centric.
Well, and it sounds too like some of these are maybe clients and friends. So maybe when you're at work, you're hearing about these and learning how you can contribute. So it's while you're in your business that you're also helping give back, which is pretty cool too, to learn about them in that way.
Yeah, totally, for sure. And, you know, that we also support our local church. They do a lot of stuff with the Redwood Gospel Mission.
Right.
They do the nomadic shelter. There's like a pop-up overnight shelter for homeless people. And so that rotates throughout Sonoma County.
Oh.
And so, donating to our local church helps fund that.
Fund
and
those areas.
Things,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to ask is if there's been any like milestones that you're really proud of, success stories in your business that you'd like to share with us.
Sure. Yeah. I think hitting the 10-year mark was a big deal. It felt a little weird because we were closed and it was during the pandemic. So it's like, well, did we actually even earn that year? Because we didn't work like most of that year, right? So it's like, you know, technically like 9 years actually working, but recently, like for this, for what year are we in? 2023.
I had to think about that.
Yeah,
yes.
we won the Bohemians Best of, which we've never won before.
Oh wow!
We won a few Press Democrats like early on. We've never won the Bohemian.
Wow.
The Bohemian usually always goes to like a Santa Rosa tattoo shop.
Right.
Like, because it's just more popular up that way.
Yeah.
So it was a shocker, and it felt really good because I've really been working to like build the shop back up since the pandemic. We got, you know, down to a skeleton crew, and I didn't mention this earlier. We had lost our first partner pretty early on, and then my remaining partner left at the end of last year.
Right.
In December, so I've been solo since, and really, you know, it was tough building back up. So that felt really good. That was like confirmation.
Yeah. I
think, and so I was pretty stoked on winning that, and even more so because it was totally a surprise. We didn't like. I stopped paying attention to the Bohemian because we just like, we're never gonna win. Like, you know, a few shops that always win is Fastball or Santa Rosa.
What an honor.
So that was cool. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest like recent milestone, and then my two apprentices, you know, raising up, which we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
A little more, but that's pretty big deal to me to raise them up. So
for sure. That's great. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Totally redid the outside of the facade, some new signage, and then just totally redid the website as well.
That's amazing. I saw your website. It looks great.
Oh, thank you.
It's really great.
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. It was a fun project. Worked with a great web designer down south, and my friend John Brewer here in town took a lot of the photographs there. Future plans, I don't know. Flash days, we have
I love that. I saw you posted that.
We got a big flash event coming up Friday the 13th.
Oh, fun.
October. So it's a Halloween
That's
themed
awesome.
Friday the 13th flash day. So those are fun. A lot of people come out. Tons of small designs you pick, and you get a little bit of a deal. Back when I started tattooing, they were like literally $13 tattoos.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Not anymore.
Until people want change from a 20, and you're like, all right.
Oh, come on. Change for a 20.
Yeah, they were small tattoos. You know,
That's crazy.
$13
That's
tattoos.
crazy.
Yeah.
No, I love the idea of like the flash days and like choosing from different designs. I think that's such a fun way to bring people in. Yeah.
It really is. And they're like team building. They're really like morale boosting.
That's cool.
Those days. Like everyone it's super high energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, on a normal day, if I do 3 tattoos, I'm like wiped out. But you can do, you know, 20 on one of those days, and like, I'm like still got energy because it's such a like a high pace.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those are fun. So that's coming up.
Okay.
Soon. But
on October 13th. I love that. On Friday the 13th. No?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I love that. What are 3 fun facts about you personally? Not about your business, but about you.
3 fun
Jimmy.
facts about me. I have 2 young children. So I guess that's a fun fact.
My niece and nephew.
Your niece and nephew, yes. They're so sweet. I love them. I love being a father. I love being a husband. I also really love to make things with my hands.
Yes.
So outside of tattooing, I get, you know, some artistic and creative release from that. I was really into leatherworking over the pandemic. I taught myself how to make a pair of shoes like from scratch.
So cool.
Like pattern and sew and upper, hand last it, hand bottom it. Like I learned it all, and then
amazing.
I totally just pivoted and moved on because
Right.
my ADD is like, okay, you did that. What's
You filled
next?
that niche. Yeah.
What's
there you
next,
go.
right? But I always like to make things. I enjoy doing like carpentry type stuff. Like just finished out the shed in our backyard.
Yeah, which looks amazing.
Thank you so much. Like to the floor and trimming that. I like doing that sort of stuff. Working with my hands.
Working with your hands.
I think because it's so different from tattooing that it's like it's just it's just a different way to get that same like creative release that I feel like I don't recognize I need anymore because it's satiated so much every day when I'm working
at work.
But then on the weekends I'm like, I need to do something, and I find myself like, what can I tear apart and like fix or whatever. So that's a big one. And then with my buddy Paul, I also have a YouTube channel.
I don't think I knew this.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh, fun fact.
Yeah,
All right.
I have a YouTube channel. I used to have one just on my own. I would do reviews of
cool.
like boots and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I was doing more leatherworking stuff. But with Paul, it's called the Man Cave Club.
Oh, I love that.
On Instagram, it's like the MCC show.
How do I not know about this?
Yeah, you can just YouTube the Man Cave Club. And we talk about really everything, motorcycles, like clothing, footwear, you name it, we talk about it. So that's right here, just like across from Whole Foods on Vallejo Street. And
awesome.
At his house, yeah. We used to live at that house.
I remember that house.
Yeah,
yes.
so they moved into that house. He was my landlord, and we got along really well at the time. And I ran into him dropping the kids off one day, and was like, dude, I was like, oh, I love those boots. Like, I recognized what he was wearing, and we found out we had this common interest, and then he invited me over. It's kind of like, it's definitely his, like he's driving it, the pet project for him, but I really love being a part of it.
Being a part of it.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
I'm actually interviewing someone on Friday.
Who are you interviewing? Can you tell us? Or is it
His name's Nick. He owns Wise Made Clothing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they're Sonoma County too.
Oh, awesome.
He has a little table over at Estuary on the Boulevard.
I love Estuary. Yeah.
So Nick's awesome. I connected with him. It's just great stuff made in the USA, and he's here local, so it's cool. Oh my
gosh, that's great.
The circle perpetuates.
Have to have him in here.
Yeah, totally. Nick would love to be in here. He's really passionate sustainability and stuff.
I'd love to learn more about that.
That's great.
Yeah, great. So one thing I would like to do, since this is my first one, is I would like to ask people at the end if there's anyone in their career that they would like to give a shout out to, whether that be like their business, or specifically career, or also personally. Is there anybody that's really helped guide you?
Sure. Yeah, there's a few guys. I feel like I didn't take a lot of outside guidance the first decade of running my business.
You were young.
and
yeah.
And not because I didn't think I needed it, because there just really wasn't anyone in my life that was pouring into me in that way. I didn't really have like mentors or anything like that, and that's definitely something that's changed with me over the past few years. So yeah, a few guys, Mark Logan, Todd Peterson, and Zach Vesnes, the three of those guys, they all have a ton of experience managing people and in business in totally different areas, and they really they're guys I meet with regularly. I meet with Todd Mark and I used to meet weekly, and I meet with Todd now. He's kind of the main guy I'm meeting with once a month.
That's great.
He's real high up at Capital Lumber.
Oh, awesome.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Huge company. And so I get a lot of guidance from him. Just
That's
both
great.
Personally, with his kids are 16, but also in business, and I get to pick his brain. So yeah, those three guys right now are really fundamental to how I'm growing.
That's so key, I think, both in business and in life, to be able to have those people that you can look up to who've lived through it. And
it is, yeah. I think it's really important. It's important to have someone that's ahead of you in life that is pouring into you, and it's also important to have someone kind of behind you that you're pouring into.
Yep.
Because
great point.
If we're not raising up the next generation, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, people are hungry, and it's if I had someone earlier, I was 21 when we opened Ace of Woods.
Wow.
So young. I'm so glad
So young.
I didn't mess it up too badly.
That's amazing.
Some regrets.
You're always going to have that.
You can't go through life without regrets.
Perfect. Yeah.
But if I had someone like really grab me at that young age, like I think things would have looked a lot differently from earlier on.
But now you can use that from what you've learned, those hard lessons, and you can pass those on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am, for sure. That's one of, I think, my greatest accomplishments. One of the things I'm most proud of is the 2 apprentices that I've raised up personally.
That's great.
Yeah, Daniel Holyoke and Coral Kiefer, and doing as best I can do. And the best I can do is I know I could always have done better and put more. It is very hard. I definitely taking a break from having an apprentice for a long time. It's been about 4 years solid, and it's so rewarding to see them, grow and what they've grown into already so quickly.
Yep.
But it shouldn't be taken lightly, and so that's definitely.
It's fun
to put that into practice too, So.
And what a great experience they're getting from you to be able to have somebody that's pouring so much into them. That's so cool. They're so lucky too.
I hope so.
So that's amazing. If not yet, later they will. Before we wrap up, where can people find you?
Yeah, so on the interwebs, aoetattoos.com. You just Google search Aces Over Eights Tattoo, Petaluma. Instagram, it's a mouthful. I didn't name the shop. Aces Over Eights Tattoo on Instagram.
Perfect.
And then my personal Instagram is at J, just the letter J, Bruce Tattoos.
Great.
And that's it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming today. This was so great. Even though I know you on a personal level as a family member, I still learned so much. So I hope this is helpful for you and helpful for everybody else to learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, that was fun. It was my first podcast.
Yay, no way.
Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. You did great. You were like a professional.
Thanks.
Maybe it's the man cave.
Yeah,
it's helping. Awesome. Thank you, Jimmy.
Cool. Thanks, Amy.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.